evening, everyone. Good to see everybody. I got beautiful Diamond Lil with me this evening.
Oh, thank you, beautiful Nikki B.
Hi, Diamond.
Good evening, everybody.
Let's say hi to these beautiful people.
Okay.
Jersey Joe, first one in. Hey, Jersey Joe. Good to see you.
Hey, Kickin' Bird.
Okay. I want to know what's so funny, Kickin' Bird. Was it my title? Hey, Cheshire Insight. Good to see you.
John McLaughlin. Good evening.
Sean's Everything Crafting. Hello.
Brighter Day. Good evening.
Hi, Brighter Day. You said hi to John McLaughlin. Diane Venezuela. Hello.
EOT. Hi, beautiful sister.
Hey, EOT. Good to see you. Mary Freeland. Hi, Mary.
Nick's Creations. Hi, Nick's.
Oh, I skipped Nix. Sorry, Nix. Hi, Nix. Margaret Agnor. Hello. Love you. Love you. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
I was just broke loose.
Oh, boy. Jeff Riddle from Key West. Back from Key West, Florida. Here he is.
I think he's back in Michigan. Hey, yeah. Jeff, I brought all this beautiful weather from Florida up to Michigan. I hear you guys got a lot of rain.
Ah.
Hi, Linda Kirksey.
Good evening, Happy Days.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Days.
Twinkle Eyes 62, good to see you.
Good evening, Cindy Fuller Stevens.
Marla Benningfield, hello.
One of God's remnant warriors, hello.
Oh, I skipped another one. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Annette Graff, hi.
Oh, Cupcake Girl. Great news. She says, Diamond Lil, Bart is getting the help he needs. Thank you, God. Yes.
That's
all
awesome.
Praise to you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good evening, Cupcake Girl.
Hey, Wild West, what you talking about the Biden administration with the step down? What are you talking about there? I was at my daughter's softball game, so I missed a couple hours of news here.
I'm not sure.
Melinda Ritchie, hello.
Georgia Van Houten. Good evening.
Lone Wolf 1, good to see you.
Well, Jeff Riddle's at work. He's lurking. Stacy. I spell it a different name, but Stacy, hello. Good evening.
You spell it a different way?
I do. What did I say? A different name?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, we're a good team tonight, aren't we?
Oh, boy. Robin Ward, good to see you.
Beautiful name, though, Stacy is. A. Hansbro, good evening.
Let's see. Annalisa, hi. Welcome, welcome.
Roberto, good evening.
Where's Roberto? Why don't I see the Roberto?
Roberto is right above, yeah, Jeff Riddle.
I see it. Debbie King, hi. Good to see you.
Oh, wow.
I think we got everybody, Diamond.
I think that's everybody.
Well, thanks, whoever's sending me the hearts. Outlandish Patriot. Hey, girl.
Well, there you go.
Glad you're here. So anyways, I thought I would just pop on. I know Mary Freeland was saying we could get together and have some conversations about what's going on in the world. I did title my show, When Will They Pay for Their Crimes? So, of course, you know I have a little video to play. I might have two. Hey, Jody Terry, good to see you.
Hi, Jody.
Hey, Hank, belly rubs from Jody.
Is Hank right there?
No, I was yelling down the hall.
Oh, okay.
Now I keep him out of here so he doesn't snore on my lives, Diamond.
Okay. All right. I miss hearing him snore.
I know. Well, maybe one day I'll let him back in for a little while. He was so mad at us, we left him at home when we went to my daughter's softball game.
Oh.
I usually bring him, but I just didn't feel like dealing with him right now.
Yeah. And was he moping when you got home?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Laughs a lot. Hi. Good to see you. So I'm going to play for you guys. This is a Fox News that came out today, but I thought it was very interesting, and we can discuss it afterwards. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. Oh, I don't want to invite anybody. I want to share my screen. Told you I'm tired, guys. Bear with me. Never know what I'm able to do here.
Hi, B-Dog.
Hey, B-Dog. Okay. Here we go.
Meantime, a former Obama White House official says he wants to testify to a federal grand jury because he says he has information about then Vice President Joe Biden's role in his son Hunter's business. But he says the FBI has been ignoring him.
Former Obama stenographer Mike McCormick joins us now. Mike, thanks for being here. You say you are a witness to a crime. Walk us through why you say that.
Yes. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
So in April 2014, I was in Air Force Two with Joe Biden and Jake Sullivan. At the time, no one knew that Hunter Biden was already on the board of Burisma Holdings, the natural gas conglomerate from Ukraine. Joe Biden is directing Jake Sullivan in the front of the plane what to say to the press. My job as a stenographer on the plane is to record what the vice president or a senior administration official says to the press. So I'm sitting back there with a tape recorder. Jake Sullivan comes back and somebody asks him about fracking. His answer is, well, we're bringing a lot of American assistance over for fracking. Burisma was the direct beneficiary of that fracking. And that's what I recorded. And that's in a White House transcript. In the transcript, you don't know who Jake Sullivan is. It's a senior administration official. I'm the witness that says Jake Sullivan is the guy who said it, and he should be investigated because at the time, Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma, and Joe Biden is bringing American taxpayer money to enrich that company and himself and his family.
Yeah, Mike, let me throw in a few dates here. Hunter joins the Burisma board April 18th, 2014. You have that conversation with Jake Sullivan April 21st, 2014, outlining how the U.S. would help Ukraine's gas industry with Joe Biden's help. Hunter's role not made public till May 12th, 2014. And then in December of that year, Congress approves $50 million to support Ukraine's energy sector. Ashley.
You know, Mike, my biggest question is, you said the FBI has been ignoring you. It's no secret right now that people don't have a lot of faith in the FBI. Would you tell them, and what did they say back to you?
Well, that's a great question, Ashley. I came across this story back in October. I published it in my Substack. My Substack is Midnight in the Laptop of Good and Evil. I didn't hear much about it. In February, I went to the FBI and filed one of their tips on their website. If you do that and you're lying to them, you go to jail. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth, and I'm not going to jail. Joe Biden is a criminal. He was conducting malfeasance in office to enrich his family. Jake Sullivan is a conspirator in that, and there's more Obama officials involved in it, I believe.
So you are willing to go under oath to state that you are certain that this was a kickback scheme that Joe Biden was orchestrating, correct?
Correct. There's a grand jury right now in Wilmington, Delaware. They've been seated for 3 years with a special prosecutor named David Weiss. If David Weiss can't have me in front of his grand jury explaining what I know as a witness, That's a fraudulent grand jury. It's a fraudulent use of the American judicial system to cover for Barack Obama and Joe Biden's crimes in office.
You know, with everything you've said, do you think by you testifying, this would change this narrative? And I mean, frankly, a lot of us have already, we have thought this for a long time. We've always said it's not necessarily Hunter Biden, it's Joe Biden's ties to his business dealings. So do you think by you testifying that it would change this story?
So if I testify in front of a grand jury, there are two things can happen, because I have a little bit of experience in grand juries. I used to be a stenographer listening to grand juries. I used to do transcription for the Lewinsky grand juries. I go back that far with stenographers. Two things can happen. One, what I say is evidence. So my testimony would be evidence, but I can also point them to other witnesses they can call into, because a grand jury is an investigative tool. And if I went in there, I would tell them to have Barack Obama called in as a witness, because he's part of the conspiracy. He's an ex-president. He has to answer who was in charge of this, putting Joe Biden into this role. Did Barack Obama know about it? Because there's evidence I've seen and put in my Substack on April 16th. So 2 days before Hunter joins, Joe Biden is with Hunter in the West Wing. They have a meeting. And then later that day, in the evening, Joe Biden spends a day in the limousine, in the back of Barack Obama's limousine in Western Pennsylvania.
Mike, we reached out to the White House for a statement, but did not hear back. Something tells me we have not heard the end of your story. Keep us posted. Mike McCoy.
What'd you think about that, Diamond?
Well, I think that he is he would make a great witness. He's very well-spoken. And I just hope he has protection around him.
My question is, just like I titled the show, when are they going to pay for their crimes? I mean, the evidence is all there. It's blatant to anybody that has the eyes to see and the ears to hear.
Yes, but unfortunately, even though we have everything there, you also have a judicial system that is in, do you want to say in their pockets? So we shall see how long it's going to be, but I believe they are on their way down.
They're going down. I'm calling timber.
Timber!
I want to see them go down hard. I don't want no little fluffy falls. I want big booms.
Yep. I want to see it on TV. I want to see cups. I want to see the shuffle. All of that. We shall see. We've waited this long. A long time. So
Dottie Brown says, and by the way, hello, Dottie.
Hi, Dottie.
Golden ticket Monday, ? Hopeful, no delay. What's that mean? Are we going to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory? What's the golden ticket Monday?
Oh,
I love when people say stuff that I have no idea about.
well, Monday would be April 17th.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know, Jersey Joe, but I'm getting ants in my pants. I want these people to suffer.
Yeah. Tennessee Ridge Runner, he says, hey, beautiful ladies, you're all amazing. Flattery gets you everywhere, Tennessee. So,
hey, Tennessee Ridge Runner, good to see you.
keep it up.
I think there's a lot more people awake than what we think, you guys. I was telling Diamond backstage, we were sitting at my daughter's high school softball game, mind you, and I was talking with my husband about the whole Bud Light Anheuser-Busch dilemma. And you should have heard the dads pipe it in.
on the conversation. And I said, once you go woke, you go broke. And he's like, you got that right. They were all mad. So I think there's a lot more people awake than what we give it credit for. I really do.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to tell me that he went to the store. I don't know if it was the beer store or what, but to buy beer. But he said the only thing on the shelves was Bud and Bud Light. All the Miller, everything else was gone.
They bought everything else out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really think people are taking notice, and they're going to hit them where it hurts.
Yep.
Like they're hitting us where it hurts.
Well, Nikki B, have no fear. But I think I spotted Craig DeHunter in the chat.
Yeah, he's here. I said hi to him. Hi,
He's
Craig.
here. Oh, did you? Okay. All right. I didn't want you to be afraid.
I'm not afraid. I'm not scared.
Hi, Craig.
Craig, don't scare me. Little old Craig with his sugar-free cake giveaways. You're not lurking. I see you posting. Yeah. Lurking means you don't post, Craig.
Yeah, it's
just so you're clear what lurking means.
The cake was a clickbait. That's what that was all about.
Yeah. And then the guy on the panel won it.
Yeah, and it worked because it got me in the chat.
Got me
I
in
was
there.
interested in I was interested in the cake. I didn't care about the singing or anything.
Craig, I hate to tell you, but you're not invisible. You're not invisible, my friend. I see you.
Jersey Joe wants cake, Craig.
I want cake too. Gina H says, my second job is a convenience store. No one is buying the bud. The customers talk to me. Most are awake. See, Gina, thank you for backing me up on that.
There you go.
See, you hit a man where his beer is. He's not happy. There's a lot of angry men out there right now. Let's see. Hi, Roy. Good to see you. Let's see what he says. Hold on. Let me pull up this comment because I'm having a hard time reading my phone. Where'd it go?
Mala B, I've got your prayer request. I will. You're at the top of the list for tomorrow morning show, my friend.
The rug in the FBI headquarters must be quite high now. The amount of things that keep sweeping under it. Isn't that the truth?
100%. Yeah.
Did you guys watch that? What do I want to say? I don't even know who the guy was. I watched it right before I left for the game, but he was from, I think the FBI or something, about what was leaked. Did you watch that?
No.
You know that there was something leaked, right?
Yes.
And they're saying they know who the guy is. But they wouldn't give any information. You have to talk to the DOD. Oh, you're going to have to talk to the DOD about that. Oh, you're going to have to talk to the FBI about that, or this or that. They wouldn't give us any information. But there was one reporter that came out and said, what about, and I forgot what part of the service he was in, that 21-year-old from New Hampshire. Are you going after him? Have you located him? So I think the news knows who it is.
Mm. There were two. Did I read there were two National Guardsmen arrested?
National Guard from Boston, Craig's saying.
Yeah. I thought there was two of them. Maybe not. Look at Diane Valenzuela at 7:48. She says Malik Obama said her mom is a man. It was on Twitter.
Who's a man?
Her mom, Malik
Who's mom?
Obama. Michelle Obama is a man.
Yeah. Michael.
It was on Twitter. Malik Obama, the daughter, said her mom is a man.
Oh, stop it.
Diane Valenzuela says at 7:48. It's on Twitter.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So Cheshire says, Nikki, to answer your question on the golden ticket, According to some of the envelopes given at McCain's no-name funeral, was supposedly filled with a golden ticket. Yeah, but that was how many? Oh, at McCain's funeral. But still, so when is this golden ticket Monday, though? She said Monday.
Oh.
Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Hey, Cheryl Ruscio.
Yep, Mary Clement said they got him in Boston today.
They got the guy in Boston?
That's what it says. And so did Craig, too. He said NG. They said he's a National Guard. Yeah, Tennessee Ridge Runner saying the same thing.
Okay, but here's my question. Does National Guard get all this like really intel stuff that they're not supposed to talk about? I thought National Guard was like the lowest of the low in the totem pole. No? Am I wrong?
It explained to me, or it was explained to me, because I worked with a bunch of guys that were in the military, and then they were working, and then they joined the National Guard, which is sort of like the military part-time.
Okay, John Dunning's got it. Oops.
Yeah, what's he say?
Hold on. He says FBI arrests Massachusetts airman Jack. You can take a stab at that last name in leaked documents probe.
Tajira?
Okay.
In a leaked documents probe. Huh.
I told you it was from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
What problem solved, B-Dog? Do you got a problem down there? Yeah, he's only 21. Okay.
Jeff Riddle says no military does, just the upper brass.
That's what I thought. So how did this 21-year-old get this high clearance for this? Because that's what that guy that was on the press conference today was saying. He's like, he's got clearance and he knows better and blah, 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 blah.
Tennessee Ridge Runner saying he wasn't intel. He was an IT guy.
Oh. Oh, Cheshire said that someone gave it to him. I don't know. Something smells funny to me. Hey, 420.
Yeah, I was just going to say 420 saying hi to you and I, Nikki.
Bongs on.
Look at that.
Hi, David F. Blunts up. Is that what you said, Diamond?
That's what 420 said. Blunts up, Craig DeHunter.
Yeah, you're right, EOT. Fall guy.
Oh, Supreme Court. It was on Gateway just a little bit ago. The Supreme Court ruled in letting, was it $6 billion worth of college tuition payoffs happen. And it was something about, it wasn't regarding morons, proposal. It was regarding a lawsuit against the colleges for, I can't remember the exact wording. Let me see if I can go back and see.
Listen, as much as I don't want to see free college handed out like that when we all had to pay for our way, but right. If Moron's going to hand it out, can he hand it out soon? Because my daughter's going to need it.
Let's see.
John Dunning, did you want to come up? Craig, do you want to come up?
Supreme Court allows $6 billion in student loan debt forgiveness. Was a class action lawsuit. They rejected a request by colleges challenging the case. This case is not related to Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. That's currently on hold. This says this lawsuit could lead to the cancellation of more than 200,000 loans amid claims the borrowers were misled by the colleges.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, John, I'm dropping it for you.
Okay, that was that. I think I saw that just a little bit before we came on. I saw that one.
What about that other one you were reading me earlier, Diamond?
Okay, let's see. Let me share.
Liz Grizz says they had to arrest someone so they can say he was the one that left the classified info in the street in Ireland while Moron was there.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me, Liz.
Oh, there's
Hey,
John.
John.
Hi, John.
Good
Hello.
to see you.
How are you all this evening?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Still alive and kicking?
Well, that's good.
Let me share this real quick.
It's shared. Hun.
Okay. China coughs up the documents, releases proof of millions of dollars of payments from China firm to Hunter Biden, and they're just getting started. And the Colorado attorney, Kevin Evans, says the moron Department of Justice is hiding hundreds of documents on gifts Joe and Hunter Biden received from China. The Gateway reported a giant diamond gifted to Hunter Biden from Yi Jinping, then the chairman of CEFC, China Energy Company. They reported that the diamond was estimated to be worth $80,000. Hunter claimed it was $10,000. The diamond in police custody was listed at 3.1 carats. Much of the evidence against the moron family was discovered in Hunter Biden's laptop that the F to the B to the I hid from investigators and now claims is lost somewhere after they retrieved it in 2019. There's whistleblowers coming out. So that's that.
That's good, though.
Yes.
Keep the whistleblowers coming.
Yeah, we like the whistleblowers.
Cheshire says, one thing not reported, but was over here reported. They arrested some folks outside of the hotel Potato was staying at, blared music where Potato was staying. Come out, wherever you are.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff, and just like people like that article I just shared, BBC, and people were like, well, don't trust that. It's like, who can we trust?
Right.
And a lot of the news is like, regardless of who it is, even if it's somebody you trust, it's like, well, CNN just released this, and then, it's kind of like, well, they heard it from who? And, is any of these sources reliable? Or is it kind of like, when you look at things and corruption and how it goes into like espionage and different ways of covering their tracks and stuff like that, you want to make somebody else look guilty for your dirty deeds. So we know that there's a lot of that going on. And with the internet, we have a lot of the cyber war going on. Like, there was a question a while back, like on Trump, did Trump really send that message? They had even pictures of like Trump being arrested. Everybody knew that was fake, but it looked real, so they can really do a real number on us and keep us busy,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is what's going on. Well, there's something going on. We don't, is it China? Is it Russia? Who knows? I think only just like when they were interviewing the DOD, you know, he gets up there and says, I can't talk about that. I can't
Yeah.
talk about that.
That's what I was saying, John. I was saying, oh, it was a guy from the DOD. I wasn't sure where he was from.
And these are the only real sources of intel we have, other than just going on speculations and, you know, this guy heard something from that guy who, you know, and that's like, and they don't really give you receipts. That's like, you know, Hunter Biden just received this massive diamond, you know, show me some receipts. You know,
Right.
who said that? Where'd that come from?
Cheshire says that only about 30 people came to see Moron. Nobody wanted him there in Ireland.
That's our secret weapon.
Well, I was going to say, isn't that the size of his audience here, too, is about 30 people?
Right.
I think that's more. Just him and Jill.
And then the moron drops his itinerary in the street with phone numbers and stuff on it. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. I mean, where's the common sense anywhere anymore? It doesn't make sense to me. And
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
he?
it doesn't make sense, Nikki, so it makes you stop and think. Is it reality, or is
Right.
this, you know, is this a show or planned? You know what I mean?
It has to be, because nobody can be that dumb. And why doesn't he have the proper people around him? He's the president, supposedly, the president of the United States of America. Wouldn't you have people that are handling your stuff?
Yes.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
But what if things got so far out of control? They had to do something, you know?
Yeah.
And they are, in a sense, putting on a show while they're trying to, you know, do other things. We don't know what they're doing, but they're doing other things. It's like, I think on Diamonds, I left a comment that, you know, when you look into like a lot of these train derailments and the fires that are going on and stuff like that, if you kind of look at the area in which these things are going on, you'll find like where there's a lot of foreign businesses in these areas. That's just like here in Indiana, there was foreign businesses. And then if you actually just look in a broader at foreign businesses in the United States, search that, and you'll see that, you know, Saudi Arabia's got land out in the out west, and they don't have to go by the water restrictions that the Americans have to. And there was an article. It was about how the Middle Eastern countries are stealing our water by what they're doing is they're raising hay, alfalfa hay for their cattle, and then they're sending that hay back over across seas. Well, that hay used up our water to do that, and then they sent the hay over to their, you know, I mean, in a sense, you know, I think like the Bushes and even probably every president, and even from the very beginning, looking at things from a world view. Do we want to help other countries? I believe yes, we do. But at what cost? You know, I believe some of these countries got greedy, you know, like they're buying up land in the United States, and they're doing things that they wouldn't allow the United States to do, like China. China don't let you actually own anything in China as far as like on a business scale. And then you've got your intellectual rights, your patent rights, all these things like that. And, you know, the U.S. has sent a lot of work overseas that is actually hurting this country. You know, I think that's why Trump was saying, you know, let's make America great again. And even if you go to the store, I try to buy American.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some things, especially an automobile, you can't find anything that is 100% manufactured, parts and all, in America.
Well, that's been going on forever and ever and ever. And we just
Yeah.
kept letting it happen.
Yes.
What makes me mad, though, is they're buying up our land.
Mhm.
That should have never been allowed to happen, ever.
And here just recently, they started a lot of states have started restricting that. I think Indiana just passed a law where if you're a foreign entity or investor, you can't own no more than 350 acres, I think it is. Before it was unlimited. They could buy the state if they wanted.
Yep. Tennessee Ridge Runner says in Moron's speech in Ireland, he said, quote, "We will go out and lick the world." Kind of sick, you know?
Lick the world or sniff the
Yeah.
world?
Cheshire said that Potato told folks that he played rugby on a team in college. He's such a liar. The man doesn't know how to tell the truth. He never has. 40 years. He lives on lies.
Well, I think that, why did they pick Joe? I mean, you look at his past and, he was involved in a lot of things, but he was, the old Joe was a very good speaker, pretty much a good con man is what he was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But now look at him.
I remember him a lot I watched a lot of the Clarence Thomas, Anita Hill hearings. So saw a lot of him on that. This isn't the same person.
No.
And when you actually look at like government and everything, if you're in the public, you become an influencer. These are influencers, and also it's like you stepped on the world stage. So now you got put on an act, and a lot of these people are just acting out because the real determining factors of the world is money and power, the military might. Whoever has those things can pretty much control everything. And the U.S., has been dominant for a long time, but at the same time, we've had psychopaths get in there and abuse that power.
Yep.
And a lot of these nations, they, retaliation, I think a lot of things right now, why everything, coming out drip fed and stuff like that. So everybody can realize, that's like Russia. We were told, Cold War and nuclear and Russia is bad, Russia our enemy. But if you ever, like there's YouTuber videos out, Russia's a beautiful country. The people seem to be friendly. It's no different than the United States. But their government, the psychopaths, the bankers, and these people, that's what is really the influence of the world. People are just people. We want to live, we want to love, we want to raise our families, we want peace, we want, and I think that's no matter what skin color or what nation you're from or anything like that, we all want the same thing. But it's the people that get up there and they're greedy and they want to play God. That's like, oh, we got too many people. We need to get rid of a few. Nobody gave them that sense of authority. They're not gods.
No, far from it.
I don't know. I hope when this is all said and done that we have smaller government and just let us live our lives the way we were meant to live our lives. Because I even had that my whole life.
I mean, we grew up, every one of us, and our parents and parents before, it's kind of like things were put in place, and it's kind of like the story about the woman with the ham. I think everybody's heard that. How a woman teaches her daughter how to fix a ham on special occasions, and she cut the ends off and cook it, and always the best ham. So the daughter grows up and she cuts the ends off and best ham. And then her daughter grows up and, and then finally, it's like, what makes this taste, why does cutting the ends of it off make it taste so bad? And they said, well, let's ask great grandma. So they asked great grandma, why did we cut the ends off? What does that do? She goes, well, it's the way I can only get it to fit in the only pan I had.
I heard that story before, but it was like, well, I don't know. That's because my mom did it that way. And then the next person, and then, well, my mom did it that way too. So it's just, we lead by what we're taught, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think with the internet now, we're able to look at a lot of things that we've never been able to look at before. We're seeing things that has been done, and in some ways we say, oh, that's like, let's just take the Act of 1871, which made the United States a corporation. Did they have the constitutional right to do that? A lot of people say no. Why did they do that? Was it to compete? Times change, and right now, even like with AI technology and the algorithms and robots, and I'm old-fashioned. I really don't see a lot of good in that. But if you're going to have robots doing all the work, you need to figure out, some way for the people to be able to sustain a living. They don't really have enough jobs the way it is.
Right. Very, very true. I do have one more thing I would like to play. It's Sean Hannity from earlier today. You guys want to watch it?
Sure.
Okay. Let me just play this real quick and then we can discuss this too. Just mute.
Biden is mumbling and bumbling his way all through Ireland, looking at castles, another adventure today. Now, he stumbled through a speech in Belfast and seemingly confused the White House and the Capitol. Take a look at this.
It's hard to communicate just how deeply invested your success, the people across the United States are. And those of you who've been there know it. You know it. I'm not making this up. This is real. It's almost people can taste it. As a matter of fact, as you walk into my office in the Oval Office of the United States Capitol, guess what? You know who founded and designed and built the White House? An Irishman. No, not a joke. Not a joke.
Not a joke. Okay.
Oh my God.
Joke. He also repeated his favorite line, telling people not to jump on multiple occasions. Take a look.
And I want all of you to know, especially the young people in the audience today, and don't jump, okay? Oh, I didn't see it all the way up there. As my father would say, please excuse my back. I apologize. Just don't jump over me. Don't jump. No, not now.
Not funny. All right, today, despite the White House claiming this is an official visit, Biden spent most of the day, as I mentioned, going through castles. And by the way, often looking dazed and confused as usual as he's being led here, there, and everywhere. And as usual, he took no questions from the press as he sat down with the UK Prime Minister, whose name he didn't seem to quite remember. But anyway, take a look.
Heck of a view out there.
Okay, guys.
Okay, we're good. All right, we're gonna walk out slowly. We're gonna walk out slowly. We're walking out this way. We're walking out this way. Walking out this way. Walking out. We're walking out. Listen, we're walking out this way. Press. We're moving. We're moving. Mr. Prime Minister.
But let not your heart be troubled. He eventually did offer to take questions from a group of children, but he was distracted by one of the child's Air Force One toy before being redirected by his son, zero experience Hunter, and you can't make that up. Now, this begs the question, by the way, first take a look at that.
Any of you guys want to ask me any questions? What do you want to ask me? Oh, Air Force, look at this. Air Force One, right here. That's pretty cool, man. Dad, he's got a question. What's your question? What's the top what? What's the top of success? Well, making sure that we don't all have COVID. What are you talking about? That's to success. Like, what's the key to success? What's the key to success? There was a guy named Jesse Helms from South Carolina, North Carolina. And he was a very conservative guy who was not very crazy about African Americans when he got here. We always had fights.
Well, the key to success for Hunter is to do business deals when your dad's the vice president, have no experience needed, and do millions and billions of dollars in deals, which begs now another question. Why was Hunter even on this trip? Now, is it normal for a president to use taxpayer dollars to take someone under a federal investigation by his own DOJ on a foreign trip? And wouldn't it have been nice to have maybe invited his 4-year-old granddaughter to the White House Easter egg roll and hunt? Joe and Jill Biden have never once acknowledged their own granddaughter. Imagine for a second any conservative that was that cruel, that cold-hearted, who cares about the by the way, no one cares about the circumstances surrounding her birth. It's a 4-year-old precious girl and their granddaughter, and she's been shunned. That is pathetic. And if it was a conservative, you'd hear about it every day. And while we're at it, by the way, why is Biden taking this trip? Frankly, it seems like a taxpayer-funded vacation, and even the media mob, they are confused. Well, they're pretty much always confused, but they're even more confused than usual. Take a look.
After today's pretty meaty and sensitive interactions with political leaders here, I think there's a perception that the rest of this week is essentially, tree planting, bell ringing, and a taxpayer-funded family reunion. What would the White House say to that charge? This is essentially the president coming to rediscover his roots, and that there may not be much substance beyond that.
I would not surprisingly dispute that characterization. Like I said, the president today is going to have the opportunity to meet with the Prime Minister of the UK. I think the president feels very strongly that there is benefit both here as well as in the United States to mark the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement.
So Joe is enjoying his Irish vacation. The world, by the way, is now entering the most dangerous time, in my view, since World War II. My father fought in the Pacific for 4 years. And by the way, that includes the Cold War. A new axis of evil is now forming right before our eyes. And by the way, a new world order, it is taking shape, and it is not one that you should be happy about. All of this is a direct result of Joe Biden's glaring weakness on the world stage. And under Biden's failed leadership, America has now abdicated its role as the world's leading superpower. And China, they are racing in to fill the void. And just this week, the Chinese army released a video on state.
Okay, I only wanted to play the first part. Sorry, it went longer than I wanted. But Diamond, John, when are we going to get our trip to Ireland? When's my family vacation and reunion?
Well, it's kind of ironic. Wasn't Ireland where at one time they basically were almost starved to death and they had to live on potatoes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Potato goes to Ireland.
Oh, this is true, John. I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
Well, ain't gonna get much meat off that brain, let me tell you.
But when you watch stuff like this, it's kind of like it's all optics.
Yeah.
You know, they're wanting a response. They're wanting to, you know, make you think, really, you know, because that's something I think we forgot how to do, you know. We've just went along and we've let them do this and let them do that. And, you know, other countries hate us because of the things that the few at the that are making the decisions, you know. And that's just like we wonder who's who and what's what, you know. They hid behind the good name of the United States, just like, you know, and that's how bad people work. They get into something, they want you to think they're good people. That's like, you know, a bad person, they'll hide behind a badge. You take something that's good and good for the people, but yet, you know, they hide behind that badge, you know, because they don't think, oh, you'll find them. And people do the same thing with a cross, you know. You'll see them wearing a cross and everything like that, but they're not good people.
You know, it's kind of like, John, it's kind of like telling somebody, you can tell me you love me over and over. If you're not showing me you love me, you know, you have to show, you know, your love. You can't just say, I love you, I love you, I love you without showing it, because it means nothing. They're just words.
Exactly.
And this is what this government is. It's just hot air words. They're not showing me anything besides making me angry on a daily basis.
Well, I was going to say, too, it infuriates me to see Hunter out there shaking hands like he's some celebrity.
Right.
Or something, you know?
We've all seen your laptop, buddy.
Blech.
But too, that's like Hunter, you know, when you think about espionage and everything, these people who have done things wrong, it's all or nothing for them. So it's kind of like, let's make Hunter look bad, you know, or maybe even was Hunter actually like when you look into like the mobs and the mafia, a lot of times the FBI had informants in these mobs and mafia, and the plant or the mole or whatever you want to call him might have had to do something illegal while he was working for the FBI because he needed to play that part. He needed to keep his cover, you know. And this is just something I'll throw out there. You know, could Hunter have been a mole? You know, and this is why nothing's coming of it. Maybe he actually worked for the FBI.
Well, that is true. That very well could be true.
You're saying Hunter worked for the FBI?
I'm not saying he did. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm saying this is, you know, right now it's a possibility because when you look at like the gangsters and the mafia and this, we know that the FBI has had people in these organizations and they've actually even killed people.
Oh, yeah.
So does that make this person liable legally because he was playing a part for the better good, you know?
You know what I sometimes think about Hunter? Now that's just me making up stuff, and maybe I'm right though. But I'm thinking, from what I know of these rotten people, maybe he was molested as a child.
Exactly.
You know, and he's just trying to get through his pain with the crack pipes and stuff. I don't know. It's a thought. Doesn't excuse his behavior, though, as an adult. For me, anyways.
Criminals don't play by rules. They don't go by laws, you know. So it maybe sometimes in order to catch them, you know, you need to put people in there that can play that part, you know.
Yeah. Well, I feel that also too, they've gotten away with it for several years. So their arrogance is going to be their downfall because they think they're untouchable.
I agree with this statement. Cheshire says, I think he was too, meaning he was molested. And that's why he left his laptop behind to make his dad pay.
To get back at his dad?
Mm-hmm.
That could be.
There's so many.
He didn't leave just one, though, right? He left multiple, didn't he?
Yes. And his daughter left the diary in the hotel.
But isn't it kind of like in 9/11, they found the passport of the pilot?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, what's the chances? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everything's burnt to the ground. Rubble everywhere, but here's the passport.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what I'm saying. That's when common sense comes into play. You know, and they're asking for the manifesto on these school shooters, you know, and they can't get any information. And why? But you can find a passport in the rubble of 9/11. Got it.
I put that link in the private, which takes you to my Freedom Book site, where I just kind of put everything there. But there was 2 videos. One was a let's see, what was her name?
The female shooter killed 3 children, 3 adults at school. That one?
Well, yeah, but there was 2 people that were there and they were being interviewed. And these 2 people were actually at other shootings that had taken place in other states. What's the odds of being at 2 of them events, that have taken
Right.
place? And one of the women, I've looked into her, she was actually a producer actor. And then the other video on that link is a woman who was at where a woman had shot several people at a restaurant, and she was like advocating to take the guns away, you know. And it's kind of like, you know, there is a group of people in this country itself who are trying, you know, it's the Communist Manifesto, you know,
Yeah.
destroy from within.
Yeah.
They're instigating things, and they're trying to take the guns, and they're trying, you know, they're supporting all this unmoral theologies to destroy this nation.
You know, my daughter was in gym class today, and the teacher was having them run outside because it was like 80 degrees today here in Michigan. And so she changed into some Nike athletic shorts to run outside because it's hot. And she was hot from running, so she decided to keep them on for the rest of the day of school. Well, one of the teachers told her that her shorts are too short. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. Let me check your library before you check my daughter's shorts. Because you can push all the CRT stuff, but you're going to question her shorts? They're athletic shorts. They're not short shorts. So these schools are just unbelievable. It's got to fit their narrative. You know?
I think that's what a lot of this is trying to point out, you know. In our colleges and our schools, there's been a narrative pushed. There's an article or an actual institution. I think I mentioned it before. It's the Kinsley Institution. And there's what they call the Kinsley syndrome, where he's supposed to be an expert on children and their sexual development. And basically, he was a pedophile, and he actually interviewed other pedophiles and came up with this, report that a lot of people of influence go off of. Like, a child can be sexually active at the age of 3 years old, and, masturbation is totally normal for these children, and it actually helps them develop a better sexual identity. It's a sick individual, but this is something, what we call scholars and what we call, the intellectuals, and even what a lot of our beliefs are based on is these psychopaths, because they have like a PhD and a MD and and they're on LSD, and they're the ones who actually help design the structure of society.
I was just reading Wild West's comment. He said, "Good thing you got out of Florida. The flooding now. I see someone on Fox, 21 inches of rain." Well, I was telling the parents at softball tonight, I said, you all can thank me that I brought the sunshine and warmth back with me.
Yeah.
It's so warm here. Yep, Florida's getting hammered right now.
Yeah, if you go to that my Freedom Book page, there's a lot of things, and there's something called IMCO, and a lot of things I don't know really, but it's interesting. I find things interesting, and it's like, wow, could a lot of this distraction be just like the Bible says there's going to be an end time? Could these people know, not so much they're controlling the weather, but they know that the earth does go through changes. They don't know what the intervals are, maybe, but if you look at the stars and the different alignments and stuff like that, the teachings, long time ago they called it pagan. Just like today they say conspiracy theory. But they use these names to keep people from looking into it.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of what they called pagan was really just studies. They were studying the stars. They were studying the moon and the sun and their path, and a lot of the mythology and stuff like that. They talk about different entities like Zeus and Thor, and throughout time they've changed those names. But it's kind of like, well, when Venus is in this position, it will have an effect on mankind, which I believe that is true, because like my sister and other people I know that are in law enforcement and first responders, when there's a full moon, people act weird. There's more shootings and people doing weird stuff. My sister said there was people swimming out in the river naked, and just all kinds of weird stuff.
Wow. What are your guys' thoughts on these transgender shootings lately? Do you think that they possibly could be like MK Ultra or something?
It could very well be. But too, that's just like all this push, a lot of people supporting it, the transgender movement and stuff like that. So these kids and maybe even adults, they buy into it. Let's say they go and they do the hormones and maybe the alternations and stuff like that. And then they find out, wow, they lied.
Oh yeah. Well, there's plenty of stories out there, even on YouTube, like that, John.
you know, and then how would you feel about that? You know, well, even like right now, we know they lied to us.
And it could be, it could be side effects from the drugs they're taking too.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I think that's how they get them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Just a thought. I got all kinds of crazy theories in my head that people look at me funny when I say it.
I think
Because
we're
I'm
all
blood. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Diamond. What'd you say?
No, I was just gonna say, Nikki, I think we're all thinking those theories too,
Yeah.
because there's more behind that than meets the eye.
Well, I will share with you guys that on my drive down and my drive back, I drove with one of my daughter's friend's moms and my daughter and her friend. And the girl slept most of the time down to Florida, but she was asking me all kinds of questions. And I'm like, oh, you don't even know what you just did. You just opened up a can of worms with me. But everything I said to her, she would kind of look at me and she's like, that makes sense. That really makes sense. So I got her thinking. So hopefully she takes that on with her and gets other people thinking.
Yeah.
It goes to a whole new level once
Mhm.
you start opening your mind up and start looking into things. Like I said earlier, a while back, I constantly, I'll ask myself a question and start looking, and then it just takes me on a journey,
Yep.
Wow. There's so much. And a lot of people say, well, they lied to it. No, they just didn't tell us the full story.
Right.
I'll be right back.
They told us what they wanted us to hear.
Right.
Well, real quick, I wanted to say hi to Pappy Two Bears. And he said there's a Category 5 cyclone hitting Australia right now. So prayers lifted for Australia, everyone. Please keep them safe. We have some people on YouTube that we all see that are from Australia on a daily. So
that's then too. Look at the weather we're having, and it's all over the place. I mean, they had snow in Turkey and floods and earthquakes and all around the world. There's all kinds of
craziness, right?
Yeah, all kinds of weather. And that's why I say that IMCO is interesting. And two, even when you look at the Bible is kind of like a history of time itself, and throughout the ages, the Bible, that's like, at any given time, there's a group of people who thinks we're in the end time. And they're right and they're wrong, because just like an end time, just like there are many end times, the end of a day, the end of a week, the end of a month, the end spring, summer, winter, fall. Time is a cycle that just keeps repeating. In the Bible, I believe, gave you the blueprint to how you should live your life until the actual final end time. Just like when the Bible says Antichrist, there's many Antichrists.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end time, there'll be the Antichrist.
Right.
So, that IMCO, it's kind of like a different perspective. That's like these people who know the real history of the world, because we went through Ice Age, we went through mud floods, the flood of the Bible, and different other events have happened on this earth, and maybe it is too. These people know that these cataclysms can take place, and if you're not prepared for it, they have bunkers. When you look at the ruins and a lot of these places, the pyramids and stuff like that, these were hideouts, from cataclysms. And even over in the Middle East, where they say the Christians went, because the Christians know how to survive a cataclysm. Jesus always said, build your house on solid rock. So therefore, you can withstand an earthquake. You can withstand these different cataclysms that will eventually take place.
Was there anything on your on the thing you shared with me in the private that you wanted me to play, John?
Nikki, you have to look first before you play anything I have.
Okay.
Because, a lot of the stuff that's on that is stuff I didn't, there is some YouTube stuff, but most of it is, well, like the documentation, you probably could if you want to share that, but the videos I'm getting off of other sites, and they're not allowed on YouTube.
Okay. Well, I will definitely take a look at these. Give me 1 second, John. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
All right. Sorry. My daughter was saying something. Diamond had to step down, you guys. She texted me she has a really bad headache. So we'll catch Diamond tomorrow morning. Can somebody drop Diamond Lil's link for me? And John Dunning's, please. Can one of my mods drop their links? Please and thank you.
Yeah, and that link to my Freedom Book site, there's one called how, they've got us thinking left and right, and that's our only options.
Yeah.
And we were programmed that way from birth. You've always seen cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians. It's always been one, a two thing. But once you start looking into things and stuff like that, it's like, wow, there's so many other options and different things that have taken place. And, even in some of these cowboy and Indian movies that we watched, now a lot of things make more sense. That's like, the government did give out land to people, but then again, the people, the bankers and the business greedy people got with the Indians and were even staged and dressed up like Indians in order to get the land. So there's a lot of things that took place back in that time, and it wasn't just a cut dry cowboy Indian thing. It was like these bankers and industrialists, they don't care. They all they care about is that money.
It's true. It's the root of all evil, right?
Well, it's like everything, everything's a double-sided sword. It's like a lot of people want to attack guns. Guns don't hurt nobody.
Well, yeah. Did you see that? I think it was I'm not sure what state it was in, but there was a cop on the news, and he was saying, or I should say a sergeant or whatever he was, captain, and he was saying, I'm so sick of this, this gun grabs and all this. He goes, no matter what, you can take all the guns away. The criminals are still going to get guns.
Right. There was that bumper sticker that said, when you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns.
That's right.
And, that's why I say, they turn things political because, you got this group of people out there. Oh, yeah, they've been convinced that the guns are the evil. And, so now the politicians are like, yeah, I'll get these evil guns off the street. He's going to get votes, whether he really believed it or not.
Hi, Wanda. Good to see you. Debbie King.
Oh. All right, John. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night here. I have to be up early in the morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump up and say hello. And
Yeah, no, I'm glad you came up. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. You're always full of so much wisdom, and I love listening to you. And it's hot in this house, and I got to figure out why it's so hot in here because I know the air's on. I can't believe, what is it? April 13th, and we're at 82 degrees right now.
yeah, it got warm here as well.
Did it?
It's 72 right now.
Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. Usually we don't have this kind of weather till end of April, May. But, well, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I know it was kind of a short show, but I think John had a lot of good information for us tonight.
I wished I had the answers to, save the world, but, I don't think anybody does. There's just too much and it's too complicated.
Oh, Robert Clymer, what? He's in Michigan too. He's saying snow on Monday. So this is what I've always said about Michigan. It's the most bipolar state you'll ever live in. You can have shorts on one day and your winter jacket and boots the next.
Indiana's running a second.
I bet. Yeah, you're not too far from me. We go to Indiana all the time for softball tournaments. It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
But the change in the weather, they made it political and a money grab as far as like they call it global warming, different things like that. But the Earth is going to go through changes.
Of course.
And they know this, but they've weaponized it to where to get to sell their solar panels and their batteries. At some point in time, what happens if the sun don't shine for several days?
Right. Yeah. Did you see that clip? I think it was on YouTube. The mayor was in New York, was charging on electric. It looked like it was a cop car, an electric cop car. Imagine that. And they put in this new charging station somewhere in New York City. And they were so proud of it. And he was saying how Biden gave them the money for it. And they're going to have all these charging stations. And then somebody went there to go check it out or charge their car or whatever. And there was like caution tape up everywhere. They weren't working. So a reporter ended up calling there and they said that there's not enough power to the charging stations. I'm like, this has to be a joke.
One of the cleanest powers they just absolutely refuse to invest in. That's just like a long time ago, even before electric became with the fossil fuels and stuff. They used hydro. They used the waterfalls there in New York. And, the river current can produce a lot of electricity and it's clean, it's efficient, but they seem to have forgotten how to use that technology.
Yeah. Wasn't there a gentleman that, and I remember watching this is years ago on YouTube. There was a gentleman that came up, and I believe he was an ex-police officer, and he came up with something to run a car on water.
Yeah.
And he ended up dead. Imagine that.
Yeah, you can actually YouTube that and find where people are making hydrogen cars. And, there's so much technology out there, but it goes back to like what, Morgan told Tesla. If we can't put a meter on it, we're not going to do it. Meaning if we can't charge you, if we can't charge the people, we're not going to do it. That's why there's been so many things out there that people have actually invented and developed, and they might have sold it thinking it would hit the market, but it was scrapped, and the patent was bought. And
That's another thing. You invent something and you have to buy a patent for it. So that's just giving them the right to know everything that's happening, right?
pretty much, because I believe you have to have the blueprints and everything to submit to the patent office.
Yeah. It's all just one big scam.
And that's one thing too with the technology now. That's like a lot of the foreign intelligence agencies have hacked into like the patent office, and they're still in technology.
It's crazy. All right, well, we could talk all night, so I'm going to get out of here. I thank you so much, John, for coming up and joining me tonight. And
Bye.
Diamond, I hope you feel better.
Thank you for having me up. And like I said, I wish I could give everybody answers that's going to save the world, but I think we're just at a time right now. We got to just kind of watch things play out and learn. I mean, it's so much more complicated to where we can't really simplify it.
Right.
I wish I could tell everybody, but it's like, through years and years of just looking at it, it's just so massive. It's like, wow. How do you tell people? And that's why a lot of in the Bible, they talk in parables and stuff like that, because how do you describe God?
Right.
Yeah,
there's no words. I mean, we could say words, but it's not good enough, in my opinion.
Right. We won't do it justice.
No, not at all. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. And Chad, I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you all have a blessed night. And we'll see you next time. Jody, Terry, it was so good to see you, honey. Hugs.
Love y'all.
Yep. Love you guys. See you guys in the morning. Oh, I won't see you guys in the morning. So see you guys when I see you. Have a good one.